Understanding the curing process is one of the best tips to successfully making concrete candle jars. As you might be able to see, this is still wet, and in fact will take at least 3 days before it's ready for the next step. We're going to talk more about curing and other tips right now, but stick around until the end because there's a special bonus tip you're not going to want to miss. Hi, my name is Jay Catalano at Up5. Let's go. Use Cementol if you can. When I first began, everyone I spoke with, or everything I read, said use Cementol because the process is simple. Add 4 parts Cementol, 1 part water, mix, pour, wait, demold, done. I couldn't agree more. So I picked up some Cementol and started making concrete vessels, and I love it. It's easy. So naturally, if you can get Cementol, this is a no-brainer because it's just too simple not to do it. However, I understand not everyone has access to Cementol, and even though I continue to use it because it's so easy, I decided to try to make concrete vessels without it. Yes, the process is a bit longer, and it does cost slightly more money for me, but it can be done. In fact, at the end of this video, there will be some info on how to create concrete candle jars without it. Protect yourself and your space. Make sure you have a mask, gloves, a cover for your table, and some paper towels handy. I actually use a respirator when I'm mixing because there's a clear warning sign on the label that says extended exposure to cement can cause cancer and permanent lung damage. Now, I'm not trying to be your mom or your dad, but I don't know about you. I don't want cancer, and I want to protect my lungs. Okay. So let's not be so morbid. However, there is more. In addition to all the dust, when mixing, splashes of your mixture somehow jump out of your mixing bowl, even if you're very careful. Even putting things away can go awry. Recently, I was putting away my color pigment and I found a trail of black powder from my kitchen down the stairs to my basement, which was a torture to clean up. Be prepared and protect your stuff. Measure your ingredients. Wait a minute, if you think this video is inspirational, creative, educational with a little bit of entertainment, please subscribe to this channel and hit that like button. It would really help me out a lot. Thanks. I know there are some professional concrete jar makers who can eyeball their measurements and still be successful, but most people, pretty much all of us, can't. I started this process eyeballing my ingredients, but that never allowed me to have proven, repeatable results. I quickly realized eyeballing can be sloppy and wasteful, and so I found it best to measure out my ingredients to minimize waste. And guess what? It will save money in the long run because measuring my mixture allows me to determine all my costs as well as having proven, repeatable results every single time. Be selective where you buy your silicone molds. My first mold I bought was from Amazon because I had no clue what I was doing and it was inexpensive and there was quick shipping. However, after using it 100 times or so, I started to see that it was bowing a bit, which changes the look of the vessel, and I don't like that. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy the Amazon molds because they are pretty awesome and it's a really good price. And if you are just looking for one style cylinder mold, then that's the one. But the more you delve into the world of concrete jar making, the more you are going to need to get better silicone molds. Now, here are a bunch of the molds I have purchased, and each and every one of them gives me a little something different that I need, and the silicone is very, very well made. Does it cost more? Of course, but the cost is justifiable because I take really good care of my mold, and it allows me to demold many more jars, which means I don't have to change molds out quite as much as when I was using the Amazon mold. Purchase materials from the dollar store. Making concrete jars for candles is expensive, so I bought a few mixing bowls, spatulas, measuring cups, and cleaning supplies from my local Dollar Tree store. They are very well made, easy to come by, and they cost $1. Plus, you don't have to use your household items or dispose of stuff unnecessarily. In fact, I can use the same bowls again and again with no problem as long as I keep them clean. I mean, if I do have to throw them out, it only costs me $1. Stir your mixture well. In the beginning, I didn't stir my mixture properly. I found clumps in my bowl that inevitably compromised my concrete vessel. So then I started to stir my mixture to the point where I no longer saw chunks or even grit in my bowl. If I am mixing in a pigment, I will mix that together with the cement first to ensure a more even distribution of my mixture. Personally, I like to mix my mixture until I reach a smoothie-like consistency. Mixing your ingredients well ensures you have a natural, smooth consistency once you pour your mixture into the mold. In addition, since I started mixing it well, I have found that there are very little bubbles and no cracks or missing pieces. Again, You want proven, repeatable results each and every time. Shake your mold after pouring. The first mold I did, which you can see here, came out pretty good, but I don't think I shook it well enough. When I demolded it, I found a missing piece on the side of the vessel and a lot of little bubbles. After doing my research, I found I needed to shake my mold really well to help it settle in the mold and release all the bubbles that was forming from the mixing of the water and the cement together. Don't shake it too much though. Too much shaking can have an adverse effect. I would say 1 to 2 minutes tops. How do you shake it? You can tap it on the sides, lightly lift it up and drop it on the table, or get a vibrating machine to do it for you. Wait the proper amount of time to demold your concrete jar. Making concrete jars is a process that takes time and patience. I use Cementol to make my jars, and the quickest I have been able to demold my jars is 2 hours. I have heard some people demolding earlier, but you really need to be patient. If you aren't using Cementol and you are using a cement, plaster, sand mixture, you might be able to demold it in 30 minutes. However, no matter how long you have to wait, you have to wait. Because if you don't, you run the risk of the vessel cracking or not forming properly. If you find you're always in a rush, then buy several molds so you can stay ahead of the game. Demold with care. When you demold your jar or vessel, you need to do so easily and methodically. Your concrete jar is like a newborn baby. It needs time to mature. Do not rush. All molds are different, but if you are demolding a mold similar to mine, you need to follow these steps. First, you will want to remove the mold from the bottom of the vessel as it sometimes sticks to the edges. Then fold it around and lower it to the middle, further rolling it down the bottom, and then start to lift it continually over the bottom of the mold. Once your flapped mold passes the bottom, lightly pull around the sides until the mold comes off from the front of the jar. Then lightly squeeze and twist the mold to release it from the inside. However, do not squeeze the concrete jar because, like I said before, your mold is like a newborn baby. And the last thing you want to do is squeeze it. Let your mold cure. Even though the allotted time has passed to demold your vessel, it still needs time to cure. What is curing? Curing is defined as providing adequate moisture, temperature, and time to allow the concrete to achieve the desired properties for its intended use. Basically, it means you should allow your concrete enough time to reach the point to be used for the purpose you want to use it for. Now, concrete takes approximately 30 days to cure, but you don't have to wait that long to move on to the next step. I ran a test to see how long it took for the moisture to dissipate from one of my vessels, and here were the results. As you can see, on day 3, I reached a point where most of the moisture had evaporated from the jar. Keep in mind, there are variables in place that affect the curing process. What's the temperature of the room? Is it too hot? Is it too cold? Is it humid? Is it dry? All of these variables affect the curing process. 24 hours is a good starting time to wait, but I would wait 72 hours, which will allow the cement to cure more thoroughly. Remember, curing takes time. Seal your concrete jar. After your concrete is cured, you're going to need to seal it. Sealing your concrete jar will ensure you don't get any leaks or slippage from your wax if you decide to use your concrete jar for candles. In addition, a sealer helps to seal porous surfaces, forming a barrier to keep anything on the inside from bleeding out and anything from the outside from penetrating back through the surface. Ideally, you will need to do this process 2 times to ensure a solid, awesome sealed concrete jar. If you want to know if your concrete jar is sealed properly, try adding water to the sealed vessel. If there are dark spots, you need to seal it again. Oh, and one last thing on sealants. If you have no clue which sealants to use, watch until the end. I'll point you in the right direction. Check with the manufacturer. If you are unsure about anything related to safety, even after doing your research, make sure to check with the manufacturer of any products you use to create or enhance your concrete jars, especially if you're using them for candles. This is probably one of the most important tips of them all, because with candle making comes a lot of responsibility. Not only are we using multiple chemicals, but we are also potentially selling these items, which will end up in other people's homes. The last thing any of us want is for something to go wrong because we had no clue and didn't ask the manufacturer directly. Bonus tip. Stop making excuses and stop beating yourself up. If you're interested in learning how to make candles or concrete jars or anything else in life, just go for it. And don't let the fear hold you back. As human beings, we constantly criticize ourselves and stop ourselves from moving forward because things aren't perfect. So what there are a few bubbles in your concrete? Or so what the flame of your candle is slightly turned to the left? The hot throw is too low or the cold throw is too strong? I'm not saying don't try to improve and master the craft. No, you must master your craft, but don't let the fear stop you from moving forward along your journey. You are physically making a creation with love in your heart from your bare hands, and the perfection of your creation is in the imperfection. So if you feel fear, that's okay, because like I tell my kids all the time, feel the fear and do it anyway. Take a look at these videos that are popping up now. They're gonna help you on your concrete candle jar journey. Until next time, thanks for watching. Ciao.